Alrighty, welcome to our third and final video of the night. This is an extension lesson to lesson 14.4, and in this extension lesson shouldn't be very long. We're going to talk about repeating decimals as fractions. That's what we're going to do. We're going to write repeating decimals as fractions. You need to take a few notes from the top of page 654, and mostly you just need to take down those steps, because those are the steps we're going to use, and we'll talk about it as we go. So it should look something like this, because this is important. The first thing you're going to do, step one, is write the equation x equals d, where d is the repeating decimal. All right? Step two, very important, multiplying each side by a power of 10. Now it says 10 to the n, where n is equal to the number of repeating digits. So if we have one repeating digit, that would be 10 to the 1, which is equal to 10. If it had two repeating digits, that would be 10 to the 2, which is 100, and so on and so on. Step three, we would subtract the original equation from the new one, and then step four, solve the equation, which we're going to use as x, because we wrote it as x equals the repeating decimal. So we're only going to do two examples. We're going to make it quick, and then I have two for you to try to do on your own, and we'll discuss it more in class as we need to. So the first one, writing the repeating decimal as a fraction in simplest form, 0.5 repeating. So step one, what do we need to do? Write that equation, x equals 0.5 repeating. Okay, now I put the repeating bar on there because I've got to know that I might need another decimal of 0.5. I need to use those. Step two, we're going to multiply the whole darn thing by 10. Why? Because there's one repeating decimal, so we're going to use 10 to the 1, which is 10. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 10. Oop, I shouldn't put it like an exponent. I should put it here. So 10 times x is 10x equals, well, 0.5 repeating, multiplying by 10 is going to move that decimal one place to the right. So I would have 5 point. Well, it's not 5.0 because this is a repeating decimal. We're going to add another 5 in there and make it 5.5. All right? Now what we need to do is subtract the original. 3, subtract the original from the new one. So we would subtract x equals 0.5. And when we're done, we would get, well, 10x minus x is 9x equals 5.5 minus 0.5 is 5. And then our last step, step 4, we're going to solve for x. So we divide by 9. And so x, in other words, my fraction is 5/9. That's my fraction that will give me 0.5 repeating decimal. One more. So we have 1.41 repeating. So step one is to write that equation. So we have x equals 1.41 repeating. And step two, we have two repeating decimals. So that's 10 to the 2. We're going to multiply by 100. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing by 100. And 100 times x is 100x. And 100 times 1.41, multiplying by 100 will move that decimal two places. So I get 141. And I still want that decimal, the repeating part, 41. Okay? Step 3, subtract. Subtract. Oops, I used purple last time, didn't I? We're going to subtract the original from the new. So minus x equals 1.41. Make sure you line up those decimals so you can subtract correctly. 100 minus x is 99x equals 141.41 minus 1.41 gives me 140. Right? That gives me 140. All right. So now, step 4. Step 4 is to solve. So we're going to divide by 99. And what do we have? Well, 99 goes into 140 one time, and there would be 41 left. So 1.41 repeating would give us 1 and 41/99 as a mixed fraction. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty straightforward. We'll practice a couple more times on our assignment. Your quick write gives you 2 chances to practice. And obviously, the first one is a misprint. The first one is a misprint. If you would please, it's not going to be negative 0.5. We're going to change that, and I'm going to go 0.7. Okay? We're just making it positive. 0.7 for quick write number 1, and quick write 2 is 0.23. Okay? If you would please, work those out. Make sure you come to class with questions regarding approximating square roots, because that's the most important part about this lesson, because it's really going to be helpful in our last lesson of the year when we're using Pythagorean theorem. So approximating square roots, come to class with questions, finish your 45 minutes with quality effort, using your time effectively. Obviously, all these things that I talk about on a daily basis, put them to practice. It will be helpful in the future, I promise. And as usual, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow.